seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the MOSEF Fall Brawl Overwatch Community Finals. So we are here. My name is Michael, and this is Tucker, my casting partner, and we are here to now watch Blue Springs South High School battle it out with Wellington Napoleon High School in our second game on the main stage here at OTC.
The first match was absolutely crazy. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. It went all the way to map 5. I believe it went into overtime a little bit, quite a few times throughout those series. So we get things started off with another couple of teams. No more Branson, no more Fox. Branson moves on. Fox goes down to the consolation bracket.
Yep.
We've got 2 new schools this time.
Yeah, so we're seeing Wellington Napoleon High School from about mid-western Missouri and Blue Springs South High School from Kansas City area, Missouri. So both these schools are relatively close to one another this time. The last 2 were pretty far. So happy to see these 2 here. We are playing the same maps that we saw in the first game because this is still round 1. So we're starting on control with Lijiang Tower.
And so far, every single control that we have had has been pretty much one-sided.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if that keeps up or if something like that changes up. Maybe we get a nice 99-99 at some point. I really want to see it, but with how it's been going, I'm not sure really what to think. I do notice that we have an insanely different composition.
Absolutely.
We have a Cassidy. We have Kariko coming out.
And
we
a
have
Genji.
a Junker Queen.
And a Genji. Yeah,
and
so
a Genji.
Totally
Moira
different
as well.
comp. Totally different comp that we're seeing out of Blue Springs South. The only hero we've seen before is Lucio. And Wellington Napoleon also playing different. We're seeing Sojourn and Cassidy again for the first time, and Moira this time. So this will be very different looking matches. And Brawl going on here, but nothing spectacular is happening. But Pigdini does get a Fire Strike kill onto Sonic Mojito on the Lucio, but Leitmotif returns with one. Oh, and Leitmotiv gets two. Looks like this is going to turn in favor of Blue Springs South here. They are going to go ahead and capture the objective.
A lot of work done by that Junker Queen. And it works out quite a bit, up to 60% on the ult pick counter. Seems like Kariko looking to do some long-range damage, some long-range heals maybe. Those knives.
Easy pick there by Milkman
not doing
Mason.
too much. Milkman Mason has a headshot onto the Genji, so there goes no more. There goes the Ninja, which, by the way, a Genji pick. That's another pick that we saw a little bit of, but not too much. Fighting's going back. Wellington really wants to retake this, but Nabi has given them a really difficult time. Leitmotiv swings that club and just throws everyone out of the way. Cuboid is the one to fall to the knife, and Nabi grabs the Mei.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Blue Springs South composition on paper doesn't look like it really has any synergies here. I mean, obviously the Lucio and the Junker Queen, they get their team in pretty quickly and they engage quickly. They have some of that aura stuff, but otherwise there's not a lot of things that can combo with this team, but they are pulling it off. They're certainly, as individuals, just winning these team fights very well here.
Pigdini spinning out that javelin, and Junker Queen is trapped in a really hard to get out of spot. Unfortunately, not able to escape. It is Vitamin C that eventually brings them down. And Nabi gets taken down with a headshot from Milkman Mason. The retake, incredibly clean. Genji's got to fall back, and this should be Wellington's sight for now.
Yeah, that pick onto Leitmotiv on the Junker Queen was definitely key here for Wellington Napoleon. Once they got her out of position and were able to take her down, just the team kind of fell apart, and Blue Springs South was just unable to hold the objective. So we see Wellington Napoleon kind of take their ground here, but Blue Springs coming in with a few ults online. They've got three, actually, 2 DPS ults and their sound barrier for defense here. So hopefully for them that they get that off before any picks come through.
It didn't go Sojourn. Dragon Blade now coming out, trying to hunt down someone. No one wants to get close enough. Oh, another one. A lot of damage done. Pigdini somehow staying alive, but they can't stay for too long. The Orisa is no more. And Blue Springs, all they got to do is clear out Cuboid, and this is going to be their point. And it is a huge lunge. Hill Lewis grabs him. Baptiste goes down. Milkman Mason tries to keep this site under control, but eventually they lose it. Blue Springs starts that ticker back up. And look at how low Vitamin C was. Down to 2 HP.
Yeah, Moira very good at escaping situations like that. Wellington Napoleon trying to full reset here. I think they're waiting for someone to get back. Milkman Mason coming back in from spawn here. Looks like they're going to try and push straight into point. Coming in with at least the Moira Lighthouse here, but Kiriko returns with the Suzu, no, excuse me, not Suzu, but her ultimate that I don't remember the name of at the moment.
There goes Javelin Spin. Oh, it doesn't work out. Able to take down the other Orisa is Pigdini, and this retake starting to come in. Blue Springs South is trying to hold on to it as long as they can, but eventually they do fall. They lost their tank, and everything else was short to follow.
Yeah, so Blue Springs South, a lot of ults about to come online here. They really only need one team fight win to take this point in their favor. Reminder that with Control, we do a best 2 out of 3 specifically on this map, let alone the whole best 3 out of 5.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little mini series for the map. Out goes Kara. It's beautiful from Leitmotiv. No more Baptiste. And the Dragon Blade is way too good. Pixies is all over. And everyone's down. This is going to be Blue Springs point.
And they are going to take point, the first point here on Lijiang Tower. It felt pretty one-sided, but there were certainly some fights that Wellington Napoleon won there. I do think that they capitalized on some of Blue Springs South's mistakes, but I think it felt like Blue Springs South was just playing better.
Oh, for sure. When it came down to the bulk of things, Blue Springs was the better team. They made a couple of mistakes. I'm not going to deny that. Wellington did a really good job on capitalizing on them. But in the nittiest of gritty, Blue Springs was ultimately better, and Wellington needs to figure out how to be better than Blue Springs, which is going to be a really tall task because they played incredibly clean.
Yeah.
Every move they made was most perfection. There was a couple of mistakes on kind of the back line, kind of the little behind-the-scenes parts that Wellington was able to capitalize on, which is very good signs, but you need a little bit more, I guess, cohesion and balance.
And we're seeing both teams come out with the Symmetra here. Wellington Napoleon a lot slower to get to point, and they actually lose their teleporter and don't even use it here. So quite interesting. They're going to come up through the main chokeway and see if they can. I think they're just looking for a pick before they really engage into this fight, but see if they can get that.
Big Danny looks to get some damage done. Unfortunately, they just take so much of it. A couple of hammer strikes as well as some projectiles just hurled at them.
Yeah, no actual people have fallen in this round so far. It's just that the fight hasn't gone anywhere, unfortunately. Oh, Pixis Rose does get a pick onto Navi on the Bastion, and then they pick another one up onto Leitmotif the Reinhardt. So this should be Wellington Napoleon's fight to win.
And no more immortality field from Creon as well. And that's going to be the end of them. Pigdini grabbing a double kill, switching this point over. Some solid tick percentage from Blue Spring South, but not quite as much as map 1, or point 1, rather.
I think pretty even in terms of ult economy here, but a great pick onto Navy from Pixis Rose there, shutting that fight down early. Milkman Mason almost to that Sojourn ult. I think he likes milk, I've heard.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you don't call yourself Milkman Mason without either liking milk or like delivering milk.
Oh, teleporting
Hold
into
on a
behind
second.
on the point. Maybe in turret form. Oh, quick kill on the Reinhardt with the shatter down.
It's beautiful.
And that is a cleanup.
It's absolutely incredible. Using that window to perfection and then pushing up a little bit further. Vitamin C getting in there, though, denying the retake.
Yeah.
That's going to waste a whole lot of time. They got that point so far done, but it couldn't go all the way.
Really good defensive play there from Vitamin C and from Pixis Rose, who didn't end up falling, but they were able to take down all of the Blue Spring South members on point, even without the rest of their team. So they're getting a lot of percentage Wellington Napoleon on the point here, up to 55%.
Sound barrier, as well as the Earth Shatter, is available for Blue Spring South. And the artillery strike just now getting active for Nabi on the Bastion. Blue Spring, speaking of, here it comes. They really want to clear out that site, and they should do a plenty fine job of doing so. Vitamin C tries to keep them alive. Down goes the turret, and Hill Lewis attempting to get a little bit more space taken up, but Symmetra's simply not good enough. Pigdini has no problem disposing of them.
And Wellington Napoleon playing a lot more defensively here on this map. We see them not engaging as strongly here, and it's really paying off for them. They're just waiting for a mistake from Blue Spring South, and they're quickly capitalizing on that, and it's definitely working for them here. See if they notice they're going to the left.
It's a much more cockeyed side, so I definitely understand why they want to play defensive. They don't want to push up too far because they always have that B route that they can push through. Speaking of, in comes overtime. It is a beautiful charge onto Big Dini. Leitmotif taking down the opposing Reinhardt. Baptiste trying to keep said Ryan alive. They get through it. They try to smack everyone out, but there's no more resources left. Creon's going to be the last to fall, and we're going to use up everything we got on this control map.
Yeah, I think Wellington Napoleon really turned it around on that one. Only 18% taken by Blue Spring South, but they kind of found Blue Spring South's number in that round 2. We'll see if they've still got it in round 3 as we move on to Garden on Lijiang Tower. So we did see this one in the Fox v Branson fight. We saw Branson take it pretty one-sidedly. We'll see how well these two teams do. Again, very different comps we are running than in that first game, so it could be very different.
It really could be. I love the versatility of this tournament.
Absolutely.
Because we saw just a very bare bones and basic composition for the first series of the day. And now we're starting to see some Symmetra. We're starting to see some Sojourn. As well as the Moira. We cannot forget about the Moira.
So we see the Symmetra coming out for Blue Spring South. They quickly get onto the point where Wellington Napoleon's taking the bridge route. Hill Lewis able to put down a lot of damage from that Bastion turret form. Not getting any final blows, though. And Wellington Napoleon still all alive, just trying to regroup here. Oh, Milkman Mason does go down from the side. So no Sojourn in this fight.
Good launch. Navi has the first one, and look at the boom from the Lucio, knocking Baptiste off of the site. Orisa is really pushing this May back. Pixis Rose has to run all the way through. Blue Spring gonna take this site. A long-range spear throw attempted from Leitmotif. I don't think it connected.
Yeah, I love the spray there from Leitmotif on the cute spray from Orisa. Good to show his support of his character there. We see Wellington Napoleon going around white side, seeing if they can attack differently from this way. Good on them to try a different strategy when the first one didn't work. They'd also switch to a Zarya, hoping to capitalize on all the damage that Blue Spring South is putting out. Zarya good at soaking up that damage and turning it into power.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's going to do too well. as Leitmotiv wins the tank battle yet again. Good news for Blue Spring South. They have 3 ultimates at the ready, with the other 2 incredibly close. Leitmotiv getting a double kill. The ultimate's not even needed, punching Baptiste down, not letting them jump off and get that reset.
Yeah, unfortunately, the crowd control on the Blue Spring South side is providing to be too much. The wave that got in there, too, was great. Providing to be too much for the Wellington Napoleon team. So we've seen a couple of boops, and we've seen Leitmotiv's javelin spin pick Dini on the Zarya off the map. So they got to watch out for that crowd control. It's definitely killer on this map where there's a huge gap underneath the point.
Blue Springs is already over halfway, and Wellington has not even touched the site yet. And Blue Springs still has so much abilities that they can use, so many abilities, and Hill Lewis is using the window perfectly. So much damage done to the Zarya, getting the kill, as well as the one onto Pix's Rose. And Nabi's going to chase down the rest of them, leave the point behind. It is a beautiful grenade taking down the Baptiste, and things are starting to get really bad for Wellington Napoleon.
Yeah, we see Blue Spring South, their team synergy is just so good. They're so well coordinated. That last Baptiste field and the Bastion in turret form were just so well coordinated, perfectly timed together, and they picked up so much value from that that I don't know how Wellington Napoleon's been able to take this back here. And they aren't. Milkman Mason just half a second too late to get on and touch.
Absolute heartbreaker. They were almost on that site, but they just couldn't get there in the nick of time. I thought they honestly got there because it doesn't cut away. It just slows it down. I thought the Soldier made it, but no. Mason was slow by less than half a second. Like you said, Michael, it was a game of milliseconds there. To be fair, they still needed to fight that back all the way through OT. They could not have let it go for a single second, but it's still a real heartbreaker to not get that second chance.
And I'm sure Milkman Mason, Milkman Mason's point of view, that was that I'm sure he thought that he was on the point. I mean, we certainly did.
Yeah.
So very interesting how that worked out. A great play of the game there by Leitmotiv on Orisa. Fun to see her in some good action. We saw her a little bit in the last matchup, but didn't see too much high-level play out of her. So fun to see there. But a good match. We saw three points there. So this match is looking to be pretty competitive out of these two teams.
It really is. Map 1, though. So first map does in turn go to Blue Spring South. It was close, so I don't think that I really don't think that Wellington Napoleon has to kick themselves too hard over it. It's going to be hard too, losing a nail batter like that, but you just got to stay focused on it. There's still at least 2 more maps that you can fight through. Next one, we go back to Blizzard World and we play some more hybrid.
Yep. So moving to the Blizzard World map, we are going to see Blue Springs attacking first. Blue Springs South attacking first here. We're going to see what interesting comps they pull out. Wouldn't be surprised if they pull out that Genji that they had on the control there. Genji, a good dive hero for getting to the point quickly. So might be an interesting thing they do. I think Blue Springs South likes to run the rush comp, which is typically kind of put together with a lot of speeding ability. So we'll probably see that similar play to the Junker Queen and the Lucio that they had before. Wellington Napoleon, I think, just needs to come out and really just get their communication down and do things exactly as a team, because that's what we're seeing out of Blue Springs South, and I think that's what's working here.
I am incredibly excited for Blizzard World. I'm going to be 100% honest. This is the most excited I've been for a map yet, because I know just how Blizzard World was in the last series of the day. It was insane, an absolute roller coaster of a game of Overwatch. So I really want to see another one just like that.
Yeah, Blizzard World was the turning point of that last match.
Yeah.
Fox really turned it around on Branson there, who had decimated in Lijiang Tower. So we'll see if Wellington Napoleon can do the same in this match of the first round here at the MOSEF Fall Brawl.
And imagine if they do it in the same fashion. Imagine if imagine if Blue Spring just goes straight through all the way 3 points, leaving a ton of time left. And then Wellington Napoleon with like a minute left just gets the dub. It
could be
unbelievable. So Blizzard World's back, waiting for these teams to get on into it. I really liked what I saw from the control side of things of the Jaguars. The second point, they kind of slipped up. Wellington Napoleon was able to outgun them a little bit. Had a little bit more control on that more cockeyed side. What's the term for the second one?
Night Market.
Night Market. Yeah. So on the night market site, they had a really tough time retaking, and Blue Springs, they really just couldn't get any room spread apart, and they couldn't get any room made up for the tanks to work with.
Yeah. So these two teams here, as we go into this
or
fight,
the DPS to work with. Sorry.
right. These two teams, as we go into this fight, Blue Springs South, first appearance at a state finals for Overwatch. Wellington Napoleon, though, this is their third. So they've consistently had a strong team in the Overwatch community here. They've made it in 2020, 2022, and this year in 2023. So strong showings from them. We're going to see what they can put out today. And there's the beautiful Blizzard World. We are on night this time.
Yeah, make me a little sleepy. But there's no time for rest. There's no time for sleep. It's time to get map 2 underway. It's going to be Blue Springs South attacking first. If you do not remember, hybrid is the mode between control and payload, where you have to attack a control point first, and then a payload unlocks that you have to push all the way to the other opponent's spawn, to the other team's spawn.
Yes. So so Blue Springs South actually going full
monkey
dive.
mode.
They're going full dive here. Breaking out the Winston, and an Ana and the Kiriko. So everything they've got is for getting their heroes and their team forward quickly and getting onto the back line of Wellington Napoleon. So we'll see how Wellington Napoleon adjusts to that. They have their own Ana, who's a good counter dive character, but they are still running the Reinhardt. So Reinhardt's positioning is going to be really key here because Blue Springs South wants to get behind that Reinhardt and attack the rest of Wellington Napoleon's team. So wherever Pigdini is, he needs to make sure that he's staying with their team once they see that they have a dive.
Yeah, the launch from Winston could be a really big part of this dive comp.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we should see with this, if this team is very well coordinated here, we should see Winston and Genji pretty much going in together on places, and they're going to want to target Q-Boy Dog and Vitamin C here. So the supports from Wellington Napoleon are who they want to take out because, as I said earlier, the game right now is very support-based. So they want to get those people down, and here they are. They're on the back line, although Leitmotif is going to go down. Pigdini did a great job staying with his team there. So even though Winston jumped behind him, he was there to batter him down through the shield.
Like the Cassidy play, the aim is nice. Picks this Rose, though, can't quite make it happen. Nabi attempting the sticky bomb. It gets caught on the Reinhardt shield, which, I mean, hey, that's what a Reinhardt's for, right?
Yeah.
Protecting your team from danger.
That Cassidy is really just going unpunished. He's able to just stand there and keep firing as much as he wants. They definitely need to try and get some on him there. Maybe have Pigdini jump on him and swing a little at him. But, oh, good fire strike there. He's less than half. But the Batfield early here could be trouble.
Window's huge. Lewis rushing at Vitamin C. A massive charge as well. Will take down Nabi, but in comes Leitmotif to get a little bit of work done. Smacking away the Baptiste and getting that site given over to Blue Springs South. We are going to make it to the payload section.
Yeah, so Wellington Napoleon made a wise decision there. They only had a couple team members left. They weren't going to be able to fight that. So they wisely backed off and waited for their team to regroup so that they could be ready for the next fight. Instead of trying to keep the payload that they had, or excuse me, the points that they had pretty much lost. So they regrouped. Good decision there and way to work as a team. We do see Pigdini with a shatter. I figured he was going to go for that because their tank is pushed way up. So they're hoping to win this quick team fight here and break some of Blue Springs South's momentum. We'll see if it goes well for them. Looks like it is.
Bastion going turret mode works out really, really well. No more Winston. Milkman Mason take them down really, really easily. And the payload gets stopped for now. But Blue Springs South going to respawn really, really quickly. Another sticky bomb. It sticks straight to the shield of the Reinhardt. And Blue Springs South has all 5 ultimates up and ready if they choose to use them. Hill Lewis does not get to use theirs. And Leitmotif goes down to the Reinhardt. So far in these tank battles, Reinhardt has come on top almost every time.
Yeah. So great play there by Milkman Mason, shutting down Hill Lewis during his Dragon Blade. So that's the ultimate they lost. Nice Fire Strike reflection there. We are seeing the dive not super working here for Blue Springs South. They're not really able to use it to the best of its ability here. They were able to take that first point, but unfortunately with how Wellington Napoleon is playing, they're just not able to get behind Pigdini and really damage the rest of his team. So great job on Wellington Napoleon for keeping that at bay here.
They can get onto this site. They might want to pop
Winston.
Primal. Oh, it's a huge charge,
Wow.
and Leitmotif goes down yet again. thanks to the charge of Pigdini. I'm telling you, Pigdini has the monkey's number.
I mean, that was a really, really good play by Wellington Napoleon. They put a lot of effort into that. The Nano Winston is a really good play. So Nano essentially gives Winston a second life. So he's able to get in and do a ton of damage to the backline. But that quick charge and then the follow-up damage from Milkman Mason on the Bastion just denied the Winston, even with the Nano on him. So
Primal Rage is really good. Finally taking down the Reinhardt.
Yeah.
But eventually they get too close. The Primal runs out and they are not able to retreat. Pictus Rose catches them on the backtrack. Blue Springs South are able to get this payload pushed a little bit further up, but it took them so much time to open up this space.
I think that was truly Leitmotif's rage at Pigdini. I was very concentrated, and I think it was him funneling his rage into that Winston Primal Rage to get that kill, because it was very targeted at that enemy Reinhardt. So we do see a Reinhardt mirror match now. Leitmotif switching to the Reinhardt, so it looks like they're going to abandon the Winston on this dive comp here and go the Reinhardt Brawl on points. So we'll see if that change works out. They did get an early pick on Pictus Rose, could be huge. But a Shatter comes in from Pigdini. No one there to capitalize on it.
Pigdini getting shut out by everybody. And there goes the Dragon Blade. It grabs a two-piece, and it opens up a little bit more space. Pigdini has no more chances as the Reinhardt battle seems to be a little bit more even than the Winston v Reinhardt. It's another fight going the way of Blue Springs as they near that first checkpoint. They're really starting to get things going. It was a slow start. They were really left in the dark. The Winston was not working how it should have. They switched up the composition into the more Reinhardt heavy style brawler, and it's working a lot better.
Yeah, we saw Vitamin C try to touch there and keep their team on that point, but unfortunately they died too quickly and just weren't able to get the rest of the team there. So the rest of the team backed off, and unfortunately the Blue Spring South is just chasing them down and trying to get these kills, and they're going to get them. So Pigdini does get away back to his team, so good for Pigdini. And they're hoping to reset. Might look at some switches here. Pigdini going into spawn.
Blue Springs, though, pushing this cart really, really far. And I really think it was the Winston that was putting a hamper on their plans. It really seemed like a crutch for Blue Spring because they switched up to the Reinhardt, and now they have just steamrolled their way through the first checkpoint, and they're steamrolling their way onto the second to get that third point of the map. But they're just getting really close. Wellington Napoleon trying to hold them off as best as they can, but the McCree doing so much damage, the Cassidy rather, can't quite get it done. Oh, wait a second.
We saw a great block on the Shatter there. Shatter come out from Leitmotif, but Pigdini able to block it and not let any of his team go down to it. So that was a really good play in the midst of all that chaos there. But so we didn't see a switch out of anybody. I do think, like you were saying, though, that switch off of the Winston is really what's allowed Blue Springs to open this up and make it through point B so quickly. And that's the current meta of this game, is knowing when to switch and what to switch to is so beneficial to your team, because odds are you're not going to be able to stay as the same comp throughout a whole map.
You haven't seen too much switching going on to the Blue Spring side, though. Sound barrier just popped up. Dragon Blade from Hill Lewis looks to hit the Bastion off guard. Nabi has one kill. The Q-Boy dog Immortality Field is no more as well. Hill Lewis chasing down the Baptiste, and eventually they do go down. The Earth Shatter from Pigdini is very good. It's the 2-for-1 trade. But in the end, Blue Springs does come out on top. They're going to push this payload a little bit further, but they only have 50 seconds to get to that last point.
Yeah, Nabi's aim is really killer here. Able to just keep picking off those Wellington Napoleon members, and Wellington Napoleon's got a touch in the midst of a Deadeye. Oh no, Milkman Mason goes down on the Bastion, and Q-Boy Dog goes down to a Hill Lewis dash. But a nice kill there from Vitamin C onto Nabi. Not enough, though. Blue Spring South going to take 3 points on Blizzard World.
Beautiful stuff. It took them a really long time to figure out what they needed to do, but once they did, boy, did they nail it. 3 points given up, incredibly efficient. A little bit of delay between the start of the map, or the start of their attack, and the end of it, but we got there in the end. Blue Spring South going to get all 3 of their points, and Wellington Napoleon is going to have their attempt to attack. I'm wondering if we're going to see a bit of a different composition or if we're going to see the same old, same old.
I don't know if Wellington Napoleon's going to go for the dive like Blue Spring South did. I think
Yeah.
they want to stick with their kind of brawly comp. Interesting point to call back again to that first game, to that first match. 30 seconds left for Blue Springs here on their push. I think it was 36 seconds left for Branson when they pushed. So really, really looking like the same kind of matchup here. So Wellington Napoleon, this is your chance to come out with 6 points to their 3 on Blue Springs South side.
And in goes the Sigma, which I understand why they wouldn't want to go with the Winston, because it did not work out for it did not work out for them on attack. So I would be weary of going into the Winston. Looks like Wellington Napoleon going to change things up, or actually going to keep things relatively the same.
Yeah.
They have that Mora still. They have the Reinhardt. It's mainly only Blue Spring South that are changing how they defend. They go with the Ashe, try to play a little bit more long range, as well as the Sigma and Zenyatta for the tank and support.
Yeah, so Blue Springs has gone into a poke comp here. They're wanting to keep the fights at a distance, and they want to pick off team members here before they turn into a brawl team fight. So looking at Navi, obviously getting Milkman Mason there, great play by him, and to Hill Lewis to just burn down the Wellington Napoleon team is what the goal is. And Sonic Mojito with the Discord orbs on Zenyatta is going to help that a lot. So Wellington Napoleon might have to switch to something like a dive comp to even be able to fight with Blue Springs South here. The downside of this poke comp on Blue Springs side is if Wellington Napoleon does make it up there with all 5 of their members, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage. And here we go. We might see that happen here with the boosts coming in here from Wellington Napoleon, trying to get up to that high ground.
Cassidy getting really, really close. Not quite able to find any kills. They take a lot of damage, somehow staying alive for a little bit longer. In comes the Ashe at close range. Not typically where you want the Ashe to be, so they're going to fall back just a little bit. Freon has to heal their teammate back up, and in it comes the push. This is exactly where Wellington Napoleon wants to be. They got that brawl style of composition, so they want to make this as close as possible, and they know that Blue Springs is trying to counter that, so they are playing hyper-aggressive at the moment, but it's not working out for them. Blue Springs, despite getting close and personal, they are still able to out-tank the tank.
Yeah. Like you said, Wellington Napoleon did a great job of actually forcing Blue Spring South off the high ground. We see them immediately retake it here. But they did force them off the high ground and onto the point. Unfortunately, Navy just able to get 2 picks early on in the fight. And just with only 3 members, Wellington Napoleon not able to finish out that fight in a brawl style here. Now, we do see a lot of ults online. Haven't seen any get used yet at this time. We're seeing a Bastion ult from Hill Lewis go onto the field. And they do get Q-Boy Dog through the Immortality field there. No one else on the team. Not sure if they're going to reset here or not. Looks like they might try to.
I would not attempt to get this point after that. Milkman Mason going to run away, but the Sigma really hesitant to let it happen. They try to get a couple more balls thrown at him. I don't know what the standard attack is of the Sigma's called. It's called the ball throw.
Yeah,
the ball throw.
It's just a basic attack. I would say Wellington Napoleon. I'm not sure what the May pick here is for, and Sojourn pick is still interesting here. I would be looking for a kind of an anti-bunker comp here. I would maybe pull out a Junkrat to try and spam up onto that and move them off that high ground here, or even a Symmetra to force the brawl. But looks like they're gonna kind of take the low ground on the side here where they can't use any of their range, and they do get Creon down and Hill Lewis. But looks like Blue Spring South is able to take it back.
And with that team kill, or with that team wipe, rather, a team kill, team wipe, Wellington Napoleon is going to be at 0 when they get to that final objective. They're going to have to go through an overtime. There's simply no way that they're going to be able to get onto that point and hold it there for as long as possible, especially with how pokey this Blue Spring South team has been.
Yeah. Reminder, if they do take the first point, they do get time added back onto the clock for now, since this is their first playthrough of this map. But it's all a question of whether or not they will get there. Oh, no, their own May wall blocks their shatter. They're going to be really upset about
Unbelievable.
that. Oh, Pigdini is not going to be happy about that. Pixis Rose and Pigdini miscommunication there, unfortunately blocking their own really necessary ult.
Artillery strike up and active. That might be the last little bit that they need, and they might not even need it at all. Light Motive popping off. Milkman Mason going to be the last to fall. It's going to be Blue Springs North denying the control point. There's no need for the payload. There's not even a need for the control point because Blue Springs South taking all the space they need. It's safe to say the poke comp worked.
The poke comp, I think, was a great idea by Blue Springs South there to just keep Wellington Napoleon off of them and force them out of that brawl style fight that Wellington Napoleon wants to play in. So yeah, great job by Blue Springs South on their pick of comps there. We're gonna see how this goes into the next map, which, if I remember correctly, is Shambali Monastery.
Yes.
I would not be surprised if we see more poke on defense here, and that's gonna be where I said earlier, like, when this map is very defensive, we're going to see that poke, and it's going to hold. They're going to hold people really good here. I would guess.
Yeah, this should be Blue Springs bread and butter.
I think so.
It's, like you said, incredibly defensive, and with how convincing that composition was, I do not see them deviating from it at all. I maybe a trade out here or there, maybe switching around some of the support, but I think Sigma and Asher are perfect for this.
Yeah, I think Wellington Napoleon needs to definitely come up with something different to run into that comp from Blue Springs South. So hopefully they get some ideas and can come up with something that would allow them to either get into that fight and force that brawl with them, or to be able to strike them from afar. But otherwise, a great game coming out of Blue Springs South there. Wellington Napoleon still trying to find their stride in this fall brawl here.
Yeah, and they've been here 3 years now.
3 years.
And Blue Springs, this is their first. We were kind of worried about it. Or I was kind of worried about it personally, that they might get those LAN jitters, because this is probably one of their first matches on LAN,
right,
like in the history of their program.
Right.
And they're just coming out and playing like 5-year seasoned veterans.
Yep.
They are making Wellington Napoleon look like the rookies.
Yeah. So Blue Springs South, we don't know their LAN experience, but they're certainly putting out a good experience on LAN today. So
yeah,
great job by them. Great job by both teams. We're happy to have them here, and we're going to see how this third match goes. Reminder that if Blue Springs South takes Shambali Monastery, that is it for this match, and it is going to be a overall win for Blue Springs South here. And they would go on to play the winner of the Hickman CBC match on the other stage.
Going to be one more good poke comp, and it could easily be the end of Wellington Napoleon's bracket run.
Could be. And they might jump down into that consolation bracket. So Wellington Napoleon hoping for the full reverse sweep here. Going to be tough to pull out. Even if these matches were super, super close, it's always tough to pull out that reverse sweep. So definitely a tall order for them. But we're going to move into that Escort map. So reminder that Escort, they're moving a payload the whole time. They don't want to leave the payload very much. A lot of times we'll see a team leave one member on the payload because it will still be moving as they fight elsewhere. So Wellington Napoleon hoping to get this one so that they can move on to Esperanza and start that reverse sweep.
Now, we do remember in the first match of the day where it was Fox versus Branson. Fox took this in an incredibly defensive side, or in an incredibly offensive stride, rather.
Right.
Because this is a defender side of map, like we said. But Fox did not make it seem like that. They pushed through, and it just caught Branson so off guard. They did not get a single point. It went down as an easy 3-0. One of the swiftest I've seen in a while.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good choke points on defense here. Starting out initially right at the attacker's spawn is pretty hard to get your momentum going as an attacker until you start getting those picks. So we might see something cheesy out of Wellington Napoleon just for that, so they can get the picks to win that team fight. And then around about the end of point A is another great spot for defenders there to just kind of poke down from above. Otherwise, a lot of it is pretty even playing field, but there are a couple of really, really good defense spots on this map that just make it hard to get past those choke points. So we'll see how well our first defending team does on them. And we do have an error on the stream right now. We'll get it fixed very quickly.
Yeah, it was Blue Springs South that won map 2, 3-0. So
yeah, it is 2-0.
The current score is 2-0.
Yeah.
Which means Wellington Napoleon has to reverse sweep. Sorry about this.
There we go. Looks great now.
That is what happened.
We're just waiting for the teams to be ready to go here so that we can jump into map 3 of our second game on the main stage here at OTC.
And this has really big implications, not just because it is an elimination match, but because this map specifically can be the making or breaking point of the Blue Spring side.
Yep.
Because not only does this either win them the game and they advance on into the semifinals, but typically the morale gets broken in the first map of a reverse sweep.
Yeah, so if Wellington and Bowling can really take it to Blue Spring South here and really show them a run for their money here and kind of just totally turn this map around to 3-0, that could be the demoralizing blow that they need on Blue Spring South to just get their minds out of the game and get that reverse sweep here. So hopefully we won't have another hour break after this map, and we'll just get to play them through if we get to that point. So
Yeah, because typically the first map of the sweep is hardest. The first map of a reverse sweep is by far the hardest because you've already lost 2. Your moral is in the trash. Your morale is in the trash. So to get that started off is so difficult. So if Wellington Napoleon can get that done, and if they can win in a really one-sided fashion, Blue Spring South might not be able to hold off on the momentum because it does great things. Even though you're already down 1, it does great things for your mental to know that you can win, especially in an incredibly one-sided fashion.
Absolutely, and it definitely makes you wonder what would have happened if we didn't have our technical difficulties after map 3 on that first set. Yes. Could Fox have kept that momentum going and done that?
All right, so we're going to head back to our faces for a sec. We had a lobby issue. We needed to swap the side. So sorry about that. Whoa, hey, focus.
Go ahead and just move.
All right, so we get a little bit more time to talk about it. Reverse sweep needed for Wellington Napoleon. We kind of got off into a little bit of a, I guess, loop down of a wormhole. Or that's not really the term I'm looking for.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But we got down to talking a rabbit hole. That's the word. We talked about the reverse sweep rabbit hole. But let's bring it back to equilibrium. Blue Spring's up by 2. They have a massive advantage going into this third game.
Absolutely.
Especially considering how good their comp was. If they can do that one more time, then that's going to be the end of this series. I believe they're going to be starting on attack, which makes things a little bit harder for now.
Wellington Napoleon starting on attack.
No, they chose to start on attack, really.
They switched. Yep, so Wellington Napoleon wants to attack first here. I think they want to go in and hopefully surprise Blue Spring South here. And then we'll switch the names up top in just a moment as the teams are picking their heroes here. So there we go.
Yeah.
Everything is ready.
That is incredibly surprising. It's the exact same comp.
Exact same comp coming out of Blue Spring South. But we do see a smart change by Wellington Napoleon. They're playing Zarya into this. They're going to let their teammates hopefully survive a little bit more. Instead of that Reinhardt who just couldn't get to the high ground. So we'll see what they do here. I'm still surprised that we see the Sojourn and the Mei coming out of here because they're not going to be able to hit much on that high ground where Blue Spring South is hanging out. Unless Mei and Pixis Rose is getting some headshots and pinging those icicles. We'll see what they do.
I don't quite know why Wellington Napoleon decided to start on attack.
I'm not sure.
I don't understand.
I think they want to just come out and surprise them and get a quick win and kind of swing the momentum in their favor very quickly on attack here. I think they should. I really think they should go with Junkrat. I don't know if their DPS just don't feel comfortable on that or what, but we're seeing them kind of hug the left side here, which is pretty smart with this high ground that Blue Spring South is on. It looks like they're going full left and they're going to go take that fight. Although some of their members are falling behind.
Oh, it's a good start for Blue Spring South. Look at the damage done. In comes the Sigma. Rocket's throw does not quite connect, but honestly, the Sigma doesn't even need to do that much. Light Motive has one, but Baptiste is going to fall either way you put it. So a little bit of space taken up by that payload, but it's going to get rolled right back.
Yeah, Wellington Napoleon, we saw Pigdini staying there at the end and trying to do some damage onto Leitmotiv. Wellington Napoleon just wants a kill here because they have such a major spawn advantage that they'll still have a numbers advantage even after losing a fight. We see them kind of going to the right this time. Remember that the outlines Blue Spring South is not seeing. We are only seeing that on the stream, so they did not necessarily know they were going that way. But again, Wellington Napoleon just looking for 1 or 2 picks because they'll get a numbers advantage because of their spawn. But right now, Blue Spring South not rotating super great and kind of just letting Wellington Napoleon take all that space and really get a couple kills there. Leitmotif goes down, Hill Lewis goes down, and this is Wellington Napoleon's fight to win here.
Nearing that first checkpoint as well. The May got a lot done onto the Blue Spring South side, including a frag onto Sonic Mojito, as well as the Immortality Field going down from Creon. It's in Blue Spring South's best interest to try to hold out on this checkpoint, but the Maywall is going to be more than enough to get that payload past the point. With Vitamin C popping off, getting a double onto Bastion and Sigma, it's just getting better from Blue Springs.
Yeah, really good Maywall there from Pixis, keeping all but 1 member of the Blue Spring South team from contesting point, and then they were only able to trick them with 1 more. So we were wondering how this composition from Wellington Napoleon was going to be able to take that first point. Well, they decided to just avoid the high ground from Blue Spring South, and they said, okay, we'll just go out of your sight line. And Blue Spring South was just too slow to rotate on it, and Wellington Napoleon able to capitalize on that. So really pushing through here. Baptiste Old hoping to go through with the Sojourn here and see if Sojourn can pick any. Nope, Sojourn goes down to Navy.
Nabi with the Ash can't land any shot. Eventually does get Milkman Mason. And another Immortality Field drops down. Pixis Rose stuck in a bad position. Able to get a kill, get him a double as well. They're able to drive off the Reinhardt as well. The Fire Strike is good, but it's an amazing Maywall to deny.
Amazing. Yeah, Pixis Rose definitely single-handedly turned that fight back around. What a great Blizzard and picking up 3 kills there. And then the couple of great walls onto Leitmotif there. Leitmotif jumping in to try and fight this. Gonna pick up a shatter in this fight. We'll see if they get off a good one. If they got slept.
And hold on just 1 second. Down goes Vitamin C. The support's no more. Zarya looks to keep it close, but there's nothing left for them to do. Leitmotif makes quick work of them.
Yeah, Wellington Napoleon tried really hard in that fight and tried to keep it going, but unfortunately, Blue Spring South just had the numbers advantage now, because right now we're at closer to a Blue Spring South spawn. So again, that spawn advantage is very key to some of these fights, and taking down people early can not be beneficial sometimes.
Blue Springs has a couple of ults on the table if they choose to use it. Unfortunately for them, they have to hold this off for 2.5 minutes. And the payload only has to go a very small length.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes for Wellington Napoleon to get 1 teamfight win here for 2nd point. So very doable from them, especially with a good sleep on the Leitmotif to start that fight. But he is going to come in with a shatter, probably a big one here, doesn't need it.
Oh, huge railgun. Straight to Vitamin C with Sonic Mojito running off the Orisa. Pigdini can't quite stay alive. It's going to go back down into the cave spot, and that is a big choke point if Blue Spring South are able to use it.
Yeah, I know Milkman Mason's one of Wellington Napoleon's, better players out here, but that was definitely a better Sojourn play from Hill Lewis than we've seen so far out of Milkman Mason. Hoping Milkman Mason can step up and get a good ult with his next one.
Earth Shatter is
active. We see some members of Blue Spring South behind Shatter.
Oh no, Leitmotif is taken down. Sojourn has their number. Speaking of, Hill Lewis tries to go up and get away, but the Maywall is really good. Hill Lewis cannot get away. Milkman Mason's going to take them down. They're going to get a second as well. The Ash cannot retreat. Milkman Mason, a casual triple kill. 2nd checkpoint is all theirs.
Yeah, so we saw Blue Spring South trying to go for a little cheeky behind Shatter, and it did not work out for them. So the Baptiste Immortality Field from Hugh Boyd was really good there on that. Great reactivity from them, and they were just able to clean up that fight. So poor job from the Blue Spring South team.
Long range yet again. Shots can't quite find the head, but it is doing a bit of chip damage. Dynamite has a little bit more. A window will be brought out from Creon. It's really nice as the shots from the Sojourn go straight through it. Pigdini goes down. There's no more tank. But the overdriven gun from the Sojourn is really good. Pixis has to fall back, and they can't quite get away. Blue Spring South hold it off for a little bit longer. And they have to deny for 120 seconds, but the good news is they have 2 ults to do it, with the third one coming up really shortly.
We saw that come down to just the May from Wellington Napoleon versus the Sojourn from Blue Spring South. Unfortunately, Pixis not able to pick up that kill. Probably better anyway, because Blue Spring South does have the spawn advantage here. We do see Hill Lewis with the Sojourn ult online. We've had Ash holding a Bob for a while. Hopefully we get to see our first Bob here in this fight.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Ash, but we have not seen any of Bob. And honestly, that's my favorite part about her.
He is phenomenal. Oh, great kill by Hill Lewis.
My. Lewis goes up, has 1 kill, takes down the Immortality Field. No more is done, though. It's a great stun onto Pixis Rose, but the Blizzard is incredible post-mortem. Leitmotiv gets taken with the Javelin throw. Creon stuck between a rock and a hard place, but Nabi comes to bail him out.
This fight is just still not over. We have still team members fighting on each side, just 1 or 2 left, and just picking up kills back and forth. There
he
Bob.
goes.
And Bob picking up 1 easy.
It's massive. Leitmotiv holding off the Baptiste.
Oh, great.
And Vitamin C cannot get away. It's another team kill for Blue Springs, and they are going to have it all but dusted. And all they're going to have to do is push a little farther.
Yeah, I'm very interested that Wellington Napoleon stayed in that fight so long. I think there were a lot of times they should have given up that fight and backed off. So I feel they wasted the mailed. I feel they wasted their backfield. I think they should have held on that for 1 good fight here so they could push to the end. I think they got maybe a little too excited about getting close to the end. The music does ramp up in the game. It gets your heart pumping a little bit. Baptiste Field out from Blue Springs South, and Hill Lewis cleaning it up.
My goodness. Big Dini is all that's left. Wellington will be denied of their 3rd point. It's a fantastic overdrive from the Sojourn. Hill Lewis waited till the perfect time to get it. So Wellington Napoleon is going to have to deal with only getting 2 points, which gives Blue Springs a huge opportunity to take this series in 3.
Yeah, now, they did only get the 2 points on the board, but they still did get all those 71 meters. So Blue Springs will still have to push all the way there. They can get 2 points and still not get that far. So we'll see how it goes in this switch of sides here. So Blue Springs South now going to be on the attack. We'll see what Wellington Napoleon wants to pull out for defense. I want some Junkrat.
Yeah.
Where's the Junkrat?
I think Junkrat could definitely be beneficial. Do we think they tried to recreate the dive comp that Blue Springs was doing so well? Or do we think they keep doing what they've been doing?
Doesn't look like it, but we do see Nabi on
Looks
Hanzo.
like we stay with the Orisa.
We see Nabi on Hanzo.
I see a Hanzo
yeah.
for Blue Springs, which is
and Hill Lewis
definitely an oddball pick.
Hill Lewis staying on the Sojourn, where they proved they were very dominant on. So we'll see how Nabi does on this Hanzo pick, and they might just be using it for the Echo. Oh my gosh. Sonic Arrow at the beginning here, just to see. They could be just poking out kind of where Wellington Napoleon's staying and then switching off, or they could just be saying, hey, I'm gonna hit you in the head with my arrows. So
yeah, I like when players can just stay in the spawn, shoot something out, and then immediately switch back. Like that right there, if it was Sonic Arrow, bam.
Yep.
Everybody gets spotted out, and then you switch back to a better DPS.
Yep, looks like they are going to stay on the Hanzo and hope for some long-range picks here. Hanzo able to do a lot of burst damage with his abilities. Quick pick on the Vitamin C there. That's going to be huge for Blue Spring South, because that means they are down a healer for a long time on the Wellington Napoleon side.
Blue Spring South looking to do a bit of pokage. The Hanzo not quite connecting with anything, but you know he's there for emotional support.
He did get the first pick of the, he got the first pick of the fight.
That is true. That is true. But after that, it wasn't that much. But hey, first pick's the most important, arguably.
It is. I agree. And he really set that fight going. And he does have a Sonic Arrow up on the window up here, so they will get spotted before they make it up there. Definitely, Wellington Napoleon has a chance to defend here. We'll see how it goes for them. Pigdini on that Orisa, hoping to take the foreground here of this fight. Good anti-nade onto the enemy Reinhardt, but not if anyone can't capitalize on it.
Ooh. Orisa attempts the javelin spin. Does not quite work out. Hill Lewis taking a whole lot of damage. Creon has to get there close. There's so many players that are incredibly critical. And Leitmotiv barely able to get away, down to 204. And it looks like Blue Spring South's going to have to regroup a little bit later. They were so close to that first checkpoint.
Yeah, Wellington Napoleon able to keep them back for now. Pigdini on that Orisa. Orisa, one of the hardest champions, one of the hardest tanks to kill at this time, especially with some good support. So really hard to kill an Orisa when they're playing well and playing around the other enemy team. So we'll see how well Pigdini can lead his team and keep these fights going from the front here as Orisa. Missed the Javelin there on the Reinhardt, but did get Leitmotif really low. We're seeing some ults come online for Blue Spring South. 3 of them they're going to have in a second. Not if Nabi goes down, though.
Cluster of the Soldier is really, really good. And yet again, back goes Blue Springs. They cannot get past this last choke point. They won't to get there.
Blue Springs will have all 5 ults online for this next.
That is true. Whenever you're struggling with a choke point, just get all your ultimates up. It's hard to defend against a team that has 5 ultimates, especially ultimates such as the Sonic Boom, or the Sound Barrier rather, and then the Earth Shatter. Everything is going to get really, really difficult. The Javelin Spin goes into the Terra, and it is really, really good, but it's not going to be enough, as in comes the payload, in comes Hill Lewis and Creon, and you cannot ask for a better use of an ult than that. They still have 4 online. It was just the window that did all of that.
Yeah, Blue Springs able to capitalize on that fight and only used Creon's window there to win it very handedly. Wellington Napoleon only using the Terra Surge from Orisa coming out, so they still have some ults online as well. We see a Nano. I wonder who that's going to go on to. I don't know if they're going to put it on to the Sojourn ult or the Soldier ult. That's fun. Those are very close in words. But both of them will be very good, to say the least. One from behind here could be really good for Pixis, but unfortunately they spotted him out a little early.
Ben Mason pushed back the entire team of Wellington Napoleon, starting to get down. It's the double dragons from Nabi. Milkman Mason barely staying alive. They try to keep it close, but they get charged away. The railgun is really, really good. The overclock getting a lot of good use on the Wellington Napoleon side. But eventually the Sojourn gets beat down really low, but they somehow manage to stay alive for a little bit longer. Hanzo and co have to fall back.
Yeah, great nano there from Vitamin C onto Milkman Mason, and even through the Dragon Strike, able to stay alive and start getting some of those picks. So good Shatter Dragon Strike combo out of Blue Spring South, but unfortunately the return ultimates from Wellington Napoleon just too strong. But we see Blue Spring South already at 63% on the next Dragon Strike. Could have it this fight. That is crazy, and still 3 ults online to use here.
Another window goes up for Creon. Let's see if they can do something with it.
Pixis
Rose! Tactical Visor is massive, as well as Pigdini leading the charge. There's no chance for Hill Lewis to get away, and so much space is going to be completely reversed with this payload.
Blue Spring South down to only 2 minutes left to push all the way back almost to the end of the point. This might be Wellington Napoleon's comeback.
This could be. Like we said, Blue Spring South still has 2 minutes to go. It's a nice shield from the Reinhardt to block that javelin throw. But in comes another ultimate. It's the overclock from Hill Lewis. It was good last time, but the shots are not able to land. The Terra is so good. Hill Lewis has no chance to stay alive. Leitmotif taking down the Ana. There's no more chance for heals. There's no more chance to get the Nano. Sonic Mojito getting up close and personal. Then comes another Dragon Strike to take down the Sojourn, as well as the arrow to the chest of Soldier 76.
Yeah, just Pigdini here, staying alive. Despite having no other members of his team, stayed alive for another 5 seconds on that point. Wild how crazily survivable Orisa is. Wow, great shot there by Nabi.
Oh my goodness, what a couple of shots from Nabi. Vitamin C gonna have to respawn, and the Flame Strike.
So
really, really good. The Fire Strike, rather.
Having taken that point, got a little bit of extra time. So back up to 2 minutes here to just push, what, 50,
about a little less
40
than 50
meters? So we'll see if they can do it. Definitely strong contenders to do that. Gonna have to be a lot of clean fights out of Wellington Napoleon's side, because pretty much one team fight win here for Blue Springs is gonna be the end of this match.
And all it takes is going to be a really well-placed window, or rather a really well-timed Earth Shatter. Good news for Wellington Napoleon, however, is they've got a couple of ultimates at the ready. They have the Overclock as well as the BAP window and
right.
the nanos from Vitamin C.
Wellington Napoleon on the high ground as well, so Shatter not a threat to them at this moment, and they're playing a little bit more spread out when they're not on the high ground. Early pick on the leitmotif as well, so the Shatter not a huge threat if they keep playing with good positioning, and a great kill onto Navi there as well. So good team fight for Wellington Napoleon. Not much resources used, only the window. So
and another team fight that goes the way of Wellington Napoleon. But Blue Spring South know that they don't have to worry just yet. They still have quite a bit of time. It's a minute to go, and they still have overtime as well.
Yeah, a minute, probably about 2 team fights here. If they're able to engage overtime, that as long as one member's there, they'll be able to keep fighting. So we'll see how they do here. They've got to start using some of those ults. They're definitely looking for the opportunity to do so here. But Pigdini gonna go first. Oh my gosh! Between Pixis Rose and Pigdini, they clean up the whole team. Leitmotif stays alive, but Milkman Mason able to take him down at the end, and they get the team kill from Wellington Napoleon. Only 1 ult left on Wellington Napoleon's side, though.
It was incredibly efficient, but the good news for Blue Spring South is it didn't take that much time. Everybody died right at the same time. They still have 30 seconds to get back there, and they're going to have 3 ultimates, maybe 4 if Lucio can get involved a little bit. In comes the Dragon Strike. That's going to be a massive one to lose. Pixis Rose takes so much damage. In comes the Overclock as well. The Immortality Field is good, put to sleep!
Wellington Napoleon playing out of their minds right now. Hill Lewis taking down Pixis Rose, Leitmotif getting Pigdini. This could be it for Wellington Napoleon. But Milkman Mason returns with one on Sonic Mojito. One support down for Blue Spring South, and another on Nabi. Oh my gosh, it's back and forth. But Wellington Napoleon has the spawn advantage. And they've switched to a Wrecking Ball now.
In comes Hammond! Gets behind him. Firing through, but the payload's still going forward. Soldier's not good enough. It's all up to the Hammond, but they've run away. There's nothing that Wrecking Ball can do. They go down, and Blue Spring South's going to be able to push it. They're going to have this. Milkman Mason, you are all that's left, and they are not quite enough. They are somehow still in this.
Yeah, we're seeing Wellington Napoleon just be able to keep trickling in with these high survivability heroes, but that is it. Wellington Napoleon not able to continue touching, and Blue Spring South is going to take the match in 3.
Unbelievably close of that map 3. Wellington Napoleon played out of their minds in that last map, in that last little fight. I thought it was going to end like 2 times before it actually did. How did Wrecking Ball stay alive that long? How in the world did Milkman Mason make it back?
Yeah, another one of those heroes that just has high survivability. Wrecking Ball, able to keep himself alive despite not having any teammates there. So really great job there at the end by Wellington Napoleon, able to try and keep that fight alive as long as they can. So definitely a better map out of them there at the end. They definitely turned it around for their team and were able to just show a better fight of themselves. So good luck to them in the consolation bracket, but we will see Blue Spring South move forward to play against either either Hickman or CBC, the winners of their match.
Yeah. Hickman
is the winners of their match.
So we're going to see Hickman versus Blue Spring. That should be a really good match.
Yes.
Now, I want to give a quick shout out to, of course, Wellington Napoleon, because, yeah, they lost that series, but each map got statistically better as it went on. It got slowly but surely, meticulously better is the word I'm looking for. That maybe if this was a best of 7 or a best of 9, they might have won some. Best of 9's a bit long, but I mean, I've heard of it.
Yeah, Wellington Napoleon definitely
best of 7,
showing
I
growth.
got a feeling they probably would have won map 4.
They were starting to figure out kind of how Blue Spring South was going to work. Unfortunately, Hill Lewis on that Sojourn there was just killing it, literally. So we are going to take a break here before the next match. So make sure you stick around and check out our next match here on the main stage for the semifinals.
yourself. It's extremely dangerous.
My best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven that found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. My best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. Best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Best friend.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the MOSEF Fall Brawl Overwatch Community Finals here hosted at OTC in Springfield. We are about to move into the semi-finals matches. So one of those is going on our YouTube channel while the main stage is going on here on our Twitch. So we are going to watch Hickman versus Blue Springs South High Schools. And both teams coming into this, I think, have put up an amazing effort today. And we just watched the Blue Springs South team in our last match. And they were pretty dominant in their play. So we are excited to see how this one goes. Moving on to Ilios for our first match on Control. Looks like we're going to be on Lighthouse first. Tucker, what do you have to look forward to in this match?
Well, I'm excited, of course, to see a couple of new faces on the Hickman team. We have not seen them on this broadcast. We've seen them on the second broadcast over on the second stage. But we have not got to see them on the main broadcast. I know they had a pretty good match against CBC where, I mean, we were over here casting the other match and we could hear them.
Yes.
All the way through there. They were going insane. So it's safe to say that Hickman has some supporters in the crowd. So Blue Springs South might just be at a disadvantage due to the simple animosity in the crowd.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bravado going into this match coming from these teams. Blue Springs South told me before this finals that they haven't lost a MOSEF scrim this season, and Hickman has only dropped one map in official MOSEF matches this season. So both teams coming in with really good records against other MOSEF schools here. We see Leitmotiv getting the first kill there for Blue Springs South, and everyone else on Blue Springs South able to clean it up. So could be a clean Blue Springs South win here on the first fight.
Oh, it's a beautiful double kill from Nabi to end it off as well. This side gets given over to Blue Springs South in a very timely manner. But we're going to talk about the comps for a little bit. It's another uncommon pick. Leitmotiv started off on the Diva and then switched over to the Junker Queen, which I personally really like this pick on Lighthouse.
Yeah, we saw them before. He was on Junker Queen in Lijiang Control Center as well, and it definitely worked out for them. So I think they were hoping to just kind of run that back and replay it here. I definitely think they favor this comp that they're running right now. So on the Hickman side, we see they're kind of running a typical comp that we've been seeing. Banjo on the Reinhardt with a Bastion from Mr. Big Guy. But Get Real on the Genji is different. Unfortunately, it's not working for them as Blue Springs South just kind of dominant once again in this fight cleanup.
It's another fight that simply goes the way of Blue Springs South. And all that progress that was made immediately gone away. Good news, though, for Hickman is they have an ultimate that's almost up. It's the Earth Shatter, which could completely clear out of sight if it's used in time with another bit of damage done. Like if that Bastion can go turret mode as the Earth Shatter comes out, that could be massive. And speaking of, in goes the turret. The Earth Shatter is not quite good enough. Banjo immediately goes down. But the site is starting to look a little less one-sided as Mr. Big Guy is the last one to fall. Get Real has a double kill. Hill, Lewis, and Leitmotiv stand no chance to hold it off. That site goes over to Hickman for now.
Yeah, we finally see some presence from Hickman here. They're coming in and doing a great team fight on following up on Banjo's Shatter there and really just able to capitalize on that, get some picks on the Blue Springs South team. Blue Springs South able to get a couple back, but just not enough to turn the fight. So Hickman with the point now. The QP's holding on to it, and gonna get a bunch of ults online. But Blue Springs South has some coming as well. So we will see who can better utilize those. But Get Real gets an early pick on the faux Genji.
And in comes the scream from the Thunder Queen, and it works out quite well.
Yeah.
It's a double kill with it, and then it's a triple if you count the one on the Mr. Big Guy right afterwards. It's a good take from Blue Springs, only having to exert one ultimate, which was Junker Queen. They still have the Dragon Blade as well as the window and Sound Barrier, whenever they choose to use it. And I mean, we got to talk about the potential chaos coming out of that Dragon Blade on the site.
Yeah, so we actually have very similar ults on both teams here. Get Real going down early. They had the same ults almost entirely, except for the BAP window and the Bastion. Both teams with the Sound Barrier. Hickman does end up using theirs, and Blue Springs South just popped theirs as well. So we're going to see who just comes out on top. And, oh, unfortunately, even though Hickman was getting some kills, they did not get on the point.
Yeah.
And we didn't catch that either.
No, it completely caught us by surprise. So, kudos to you, Blue Springs South. You caught even the casters by surprise. We were too busy going on the fighting, and nobody was paying attention to the control point. It's going to give them the first point of this map. Only one more, and they're going to seal this deal.
Yeah, so moving on to Lighthouse, we're seeing a lot of CC come out from the team. So we have Sonic Mojito still remaining on that Lucio, hoping to get some boops in the well here. I think I said Lighthouse again, but well is where we're at. And the Brigitte here with the whip shot, hoping to get some knocks off into the well, and also Banjo. So a lot of CC coming. Quick teleporter out from Blue Spring South, and then a switch back to the Genji. So just a little mobile play there with the Lucio. They're able to quickly get onto that point and take advantage of that choke in front of Hickman.
You are going to have to watch out for Brigitte and Lucio on pit, because all it takes is a right click and you're getting sent straight down that hole.
Yeah, the positioning is going to be very key for a lot of the players here, to watch out for that Lucio and watch out for that Brigitte and not let them get that. So Get Real, oh, quick kill onto Nabi. Really good job there from Get Real. Hoping to capitalize on that, and his team needs to come in and pick up some other kills. He's in the backline again by himself. Now Banjo jumping in with him.
Winston trying to keep this contested. Peaches, no chance against the Junker Queen, as it's the knife that takes them down, and a shot straight to Banjo. Trying to run that Lucio off, and they barely get away, or rather that Genji off. And they are able to do so.
So we see a switch from Mr. Big Guy here this round onto the Sojourn. Getting up to 60% on that ult charge. Hopefully he can get something big with it. Hickman still not showing a lot of presence.
Not too much. Get Real, trying to get close. But Junker Queen is continuing to be a problem for this Hickman side. Light Motive has not even had a thought of switching off any time now, as it's been working so well. Master Big Guy trying to hopefully take a little bit of damage onto that Junker Queen, but so far nothing is coming through. Long range stars from the Genji, almost falling into the pit, but they stay cool, under control. They lunge to the small room. Light Motive has the kill with their ultimate onto the Brigitte, and there is the final elimination on the other support. No more Ana, no more Brigitte. 50% is already gone through for Blue Springs.
Yeah, Coach Enlow over on Blue Springs South, he said that when they're running this comp with the Rampage, when the Junker Queen, that they are very, very consistent with them. They have a high win rate with that Junker Queen. So they're going to stick with that on control, I think, and we're going to see that every time that they're on control. Get Real just keeps going in a little too early, I feel, and getting picked off here. So this should be a team fight reset already for Hickman here.
Brigitte just gives another life over to Blue Springs, and the Primal Rage is finally up for Hickman. It's a nice sleep from Peaches, but they still have to find a way to get out of the line of sight, and they barely are able to do so. It's 5 ultimates that are online and at the ready of Hickman. If they choose to use it, they only got 10% to use it, because this is their last life.
Yeah, Hickman has all 5 ults on. They do go ahead and nano Get Real here with the blade, but they have popped 4 of their ults. The only one they still have left is the Primal Rage. I thought for sure that Wolfblaze was going to get the boop there. They did get it on Nabi, actually. So great job there to them. They do get that team fight, but at what cost? Using 4 ults just to get it, when Blue Springs South is going to come back with 3. This could still be the end for Hickman on this map.
Banjo seems really hesitant to use that Primal Range. It feels like they've had it for quite a while. And to be fair, it took them a really long time to get it. We did not see a lot done with the Winston until that last fight. But I feel like you're going to have to use it sooner or later. Right now is not the time, though. You got to wait until a couple of your teammates get those ultimates back up, considering how Get Real, Mr. Big Guy, pretty much everybody on Hickman used their ults on that last team fight. But at the moment, with how it's going, they don't need to use ultimates. All they need is their basic abilities. And they're going to get these kills, and they're going to get these team wipes.
Yeah, we saw some good plays in there from Hickman. A really good Suzu from Creon and his own team, though, to keep Get Real from killing multiple members of his team. So that shout out to Creon there. That was a great play. But even with Leitmotiv jumping in the back line on Hickman's support, Hickman was able to take him down and finish up that fight. So good job, Hickman, on keeping the point there. Giving a little bit of space to Blue Spring South. They're pushing in here. Hill Lewis with the blade, but slept during the blade. huge shutdown on that. Wolfblade is going to go down to a Sonic Mojito melee. Very interesting. But Creon goes down as well, trading back and forth in this fight. Back and forth and back and forth. We're going to see who comes out on top. Looks like it might be Blue Spring South.
Deadeye is finally able to make a pop-up appearance. Navi almost taking down Peaches. It has to be Light Motive to get the job done. Overtime goes the way of Blue Spring South, and map 1 is going to go to them in a very one-sided fashion.
Yeah, we've seen this again and again. The only close map we've seen on Control was between Blue Spring South and Wellington Napoleon. So a lot of one-sided matches here on Control today. Surprising to see that. This is usually a type of game mode that goes back and forth, but I guess Blue Spring South is quite dominant here. Interestingly, Hickman, another team that has seen multiple state appearances. They have made it to 4. They've qualified for 4 MOSEF state appearances. Blue Spring South, again, this is their first one, and so far they are on top in this matchup. So Blue Spring South looks like they're going to be quite a contender in Missouri Esports.
I got a feeling that it's going to be insanely difficult to take down this blue team. Blue Springs has been stomping their way through everybody. The first match that they had today was a 3-0 steamroll. That map was absolutely incredible from all 5 of those players. Light Motive was doing so much work. Hickman could not keep up. And once again, this is their first appearance. What they are doing in their first time at the state land is incredible.
Yeah, Light Motive definitely leading the charge on those control maps with that Junker Queen pick. So doing a really good job, and their team comp's just backing that up, and they're working really well together. It's the coordination, and we said this last time we saw them too. It's the coordination from that team with the target callouts and the jumping on the same target, and they're just executing really, really well, and that these other teams don't seem to be ready for. So as we move into our hybrid map, we're going to go to Kings Row, set in London. And we are going to switch to that hybrid style, and we're going to see if Hickman can find some ground here and take away Blue Spring South streak that they have. Because currently Blue Spring South on a 4-map win streak between these 2 matches.
Yeah, they won the first series in a 3-0 fashion. And it looks like this could be a carbon copy if Kings Row and Dorado go the way that they want it to. And hybrid's one of those things that I believe it was close. Or no, I remember.
No, it wasn't close.
It was not close. That was Escort.
It was
that was
3-0
close.
again, yeah.
It was 3-0. I know that Escort was close. It was hybrid. That was a complete 3-0.
Yeah.
But Escort, that's where things can get a little bit dicey, because if you remember how good their opponents were, it was really difficult. They had to fight for every little bit of that payload space. But hybrid, that's their bread and butter. They got that control point incredibly fast. They pushed the payload with very little resistance, and when they got on the defense, not a single point.
Yeah, and Coach Enlow from Blue Spring South said that last map versus Wellington Napoleon was too close for comfort. And he said they were very worried there at the end when Wellington Napoleon almost able to keep them in overtime and keep Blue Spring South from taking it. And unfortunately for Wellington Napoleon, Blue Spring South able to do so in the end. But so Hickman hoping to come out strong on Kings Row here and see a different comp. We are having some getting some lobby issues fixed up on the arena, so you're stuck with just Tucker and I for a while. But working on getting into Kings Row, so I imagine we'll see that poke comp coming out from Blue Spring South again. I would be highly surprised if we don't see that here. So
yeah, it worked out incredibly well on maps 2 and 3 of the first series, the quarterfinals against Wellington Napoleon. They had a completely hard time getting adjusted to that. Once they got adjusted to it, they kind of started to pick up a little bit of pace, but they were still not able to take down Blue Springs. They were the better team. That poke comp was incredible to watch, insanely efficient, as well as just the battering ram of the Ashen Sigma was incredible.
Yeah, watching Hill Lewis on that Sojourn, gonna definitely be a big problem if they're on there again. So that's gonna be something Hickman wants to definitely have a plan for and have a way to take care of. I wonder if we'll see Widow on this map. Kings Row, a very famous Widowmaker map. In fact, Widow in the cinematic for Kings Row is featured there. So makes sense that she's very useful on this map. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Widow or play too. It looks like Hickman is waiting for a sub. So they've got to get someone logged into their own Blizzard account. So that is what we are currently waiting on. Shouldn't take too long. So hopefully they're ready soon. But in the meantime, a couple of fun facts about the teams. Blue Spring South has a warm-up where they just dodge the cars. Presumably this would be on Oasis. An Oasis city center, there's an outside location where a bunch of cars drive by, and if you hit them in the game, they instant kill you. They're just an instant kill, so you never want to go over there. There's a couple of custom game modes where people just dodge the cars. So that sounds like that's how Blue Spring South likes to warm up, and likes to have a good time and dodge some cars. Which I guess it's working out for them. It seems to be the strategy. So
seems to be. So it looks like we are nearing map 2. Both these teams are ready. The sub is in, so thankfully we didn't have any problems getting them in. Kings Row about to get started. We go to hybrid, and it's going to be the opposing team starting on attack. I believe last time it was Wellington Napoleon starting on attack as well. They
for
chose
Shambali, yeah.
For Shambali,
I don't remember for Blizzard World.
Wait, I think it was Blizzard World as well.
Maybe.
I think for the Escort, I wanted to say no. It was Blue Springs that started on the attack for Escort on Blizzard World. This time things are flipped around.
Yeah. So Hickman coming out here to start on attack for this Kings Row matchup. It looks like a good prediction by myself here. Mr. Big Guy, at least for now, is on the Widowmaker pick. Really good sight lines here from the spawn. So we'll see Blue Spring South going to have some good positioning to make sure that they avoid that there. The rest of the comp coming out is stuff we've seen before. May and Lucio and Baptiste. Baptiste really strong right now. Just outputs so much healing, and his window just is such a good tool for his whole team. So, and then Blue Spring South, pretty much what we were expecting. We see the Hill Lewis on the Sojourn, Nabi on the Cassidy. With the Reinhardt, I'm curious as to where they're going to want to set up. So we will find out in just a second. Looks like they're going to play kind of around the corner of the hotel here. See if Widow, Mr. Big Guy, can get any picks.
As if you look, Base Butter is coming in.
Mr. Big Guy quickly gave up on the Widow and switched to Bastion. So I guess worried a little bit too much about Blue Spring's positioning. Probably knew that he wasn't going to be able to get any headshots there. So maybe made a smart play here to switch to someone who can get some more consistent damage. Unfortunately, he's going to go down quickly to a Nabi pick. Maywall from Get Real there, keeping the Reinhardt off.
However, the Sigma is coming out from Banjo, which is, in my opinion, expected from what we were going to see from Blue Springs South, but rather than attempting to poke, they go with a much more Brawl style.
Yeah, so Hickman working on...
Except for the Cassidy.
Working on... They want to get in close and kind of just take some of these guys down. So Banjo switches off the Sigma into the Reinhardt, and they want to get up and close and personal now. So we see them with their skin there from Diablo. And hopefully Mr. Big Guy getting some picks there. Does get Nabi, takes him out. Good fight decision there. And Hill Lewis, no DPS left for the Blue Spring South team. So this should be an easy win here for Hickman, and it is.
They are going to get 1 point, so no shutout here. Blue Springs did just that in the last Escort map, or the last hybrid map. But this time Hickman is going to get that control point, and they get to switch themselves onto the payload. An unfortunate position for Light Motive to be in, trapped between the May wall. Could have been placed a little bit better, but it still forced them into a corner and got them a little bit scared.
Yeah, and we see an almost perfect mirror match here. The only difference is Nabi on the Cassidy versus Get Real on the May. Everything else is the same on these teams, but that team fight is going to go in the favor of Blue Spring South for now. See if Hickman can turn it around. They do have a spawn advantage here. Quite a long spawn advantage. Kings Row famous for having a really, really long spawn walk for point B at the start. So this is Hickman's time to really capitalize on getting individual picks.
Light Motive has to run back, pop their shield up, gets saved by the Baptiste, and Hickman's going to be able to push this a little bit further down. In comes the window from Blue Springs, but the May wall is a really good job to deny.